So today we find ourselves in the beautiful home of an amazing couple who have such a heart for young people. And yes, that includes me too. I know Renee from probably, okay, she knows me from before I was even born. And then about 10 years ago, we all reconnected when we were at the local church, and probably about a year ago, she introduced me to what her husband Sebastian was doing with AFRA Foundation. But let me not get into it. Let's meet today's guests. Hi, Rena and Sebastian, and thank you so much for being a part of Get to Know My Network. So tell us a bit about your background and what it is that you do.
Okay, so I'm a girl from Cape Town, grew up here, born and bred. And as you know, Candice, I know you for many years. I studied medicine. So I qualified as a medical doctor in '97, and after that I did a few stints at hospitals, and then I found myself doing a PhD in public health at UCT, and thereafter I specialized in what they call public health medicine, and since 2011 I work at an organization called the Health Systems Trust. It's a national NGO, and I run the health systems research unit.
And you, Sebastian?
Okay, I'm not a girl from Cape Town, I'm a boy from George, but I've been in Cape Town almost my whole life now. Went to school here, summer school, and I'm a scientist by profession, and for quite a number of years I've been involved in TB vaccine development. I work for an organisation called AFRA Global TB Vaccine Foundation. And towards the end of 2016, I started a not-for-profit organization called AFRA Foundation. And that's really what I do right now. I spend most of my time doing that. I do consult for a group called the Global Health Network at Oxford University, where I coordinate the laboratory space. It's an online science park that makes resources available for skills development in low to medium income countries. So that's a bit about myself.
Very interesting. Okay, so let's get into AFRA Foundation. What exactly does it do?
Okay, so maybe we should take a step back before I say what AFRA does. AFRA was really birthed about 4 to 5 years ago in my heart. It comes from really a love for young people. When I came to Cape Town the first time in 1986, I got involved in youth ministry, and what an incredible experience. And I've been involved in youth ministry ever since. And we've seen, what it means to get involved and invest in young people's lives. And about 4-5 years ago, I was sitting in church listening to a sermon by Msizi Tele, and he spoke about investing in Africa specifically. And I think that stirred up in my heart, a vision to invest in young people's lives. And so we thought about, how do we do that? How do we formalize that? And the best way to formalize that is through a not-for-profit, or for me, was through a not-for-profit organization. So that's really a bit of the background, how AFRA came about. And so AFRA has a couple of programs that we're involved in. The first program is focused on youth education, and it's really because we have such a huge dropout rate in schools. The dropout rate in schools is from 40% to above 50% in some provinces, and that's a huge problem for a developing country, specifically because we have a population of more than 50% that's between the age of 15 and 25. So if all those kids drop out of school, it means they're not going to have meaningful jobs, and it means our country is going to suffer because there's no people with skill. So the first program focuses on trying to reduce the dropout rate. The second program is more focused on young adults, and there are two projects that we're involved in there. The first project is called AFRA Grow, and that really helps young professionals to develop skills that makes them more marketable in terms of their careers. And like you know, the entrepreneurship workshop that we hosted was one of those things. And then the second program looks more at the creative arts. It's a little broader than just creative arts, and it's a platform for young adults to showcase their talent. And it's quite broad because it looks at music, it looks at art, it looks at photography, film, poetry, design, dance. And we try to connect those young people with producers and directors that can help nurture their talent and grow their careers. And that runs, we try to run it every second month at different venues, and it's free of charge for young people, and it's also a safe space for young people. We see that alcohol and drugs are huge issues particularly in our communities, and so we want to create a safe space for young people that's alcohol free and drug free. And where they can enjoy some good music and good poetry. And then the last program that we run is focused on women, and it's called our Intergenerational Women's Program, because we think it's important for our older women to invest and teach our younger women, and for both to learn from each other. And there we've got two projects. The one is called Stories and Words, and that really uses the stories of women and girls, their experiences, to help create awareness of the challenges that they face, and also just help people through difficult circumstances through those stories. And then the second part of that is more focused on health, and it's called AFRA Health, and that looks at women's wellness. But it looks at helping women identify ill health early on, and helps them to, how to address those issues. For instance, if you look at stunting, which is a big problem for young kids at school, and often it's picked up so late in life, and they really struggle, in school without anyone really knowing what the problem is. So if that can be picked up early, they can be helped early. And that's what we hope to do through AFRA Health. But Rena is the doctor and the public health specialist, and will probably know much more about that than what I do. And I don't know if you want to say anything about that.
Yeah, I think it's important that we educate our communities, that we educate particularly our women, our young women. Because they're the center of our communities, they're the center of the foundations of our families, and how they live their lives, how they raise their children. It's very important, because that will result in a healthy nation. So that's all part of what the Stories and Words, and being able to support AFRA in its endeavors to grow our nation.
Yeah. And I think it's important, one of the things that's very important to us is when Msizi had his sermon on investing in Africa, one of the things that I thought about was, if we really, and that's a motto, AFRA's motto, is that if we want to invest, or if Africa wants to prosper, Africans has to invest in Africa. And that's what we try and do through AFRA. Is we try and invest in, often people think of, when you say investment, they think money. And yes, we do need money, and we want people to invest in AFRA, but it's so much more. It's investing your skills, it's investing your expertise, your resources, and your money. Our young people are our future, and if we don't invest it, I had people investing in my life. And I'm sure Rene had people investing in her life, and that's why we are where we are today because of those people. And this is a way for me to give back what I received. And I think that's very important. Our vision at AFRA is to engage young people, to develop them, and to educate them so that they can make a meaningful contribution to our society and broader Africa.
No, thank you. And that's actually very important that you say that you've had people invest in your life. And thank you to both of you for investing in my life, because I wouldn't be here and doing this if you didn't take that step and put yourself out there and want to help. Because as you know, nowadays for any of this kind of help you have to go and pay somebody to do it. And just that you guys have such a heart for young people, and I will say it again, yes, I still fall in that category.
Yes, you do.
Thank you. So for my last question, what are the plans for AFRA for the next 12 months?
Okay, good question. I think firstly, we really want to find some funds to support our project. So we're working quite hard on talking to people about grant applications. And then Ground Zero Culture Club continues throughout the year. We really want to give back to some of the participants of Ground Zero Culture Club. So for December, we planning a full or half day event, which we hope to charge for, but the money that we raise within that event will go towards the participants that have joined us and have showcased their talents throughout the year. And that's our way of showing appreciation to them, because it's not easy. Many of them are trying to build careers out of these talents, so we really want to give back to them. We're also launching the pilot project at a school in Silvertown. So we're hoping in the next month or so to start that project with the grade 6 and 7s. And then for next year, we will probably do quite a bit on the women's program. Some more stories and words, and we want to start the AFRA Health program as well. We do want to add some other provinces, because we've focused for this year on the Western Cape. We really would like to add one more town or city within the Western Cape to the Ground Zero project. But for next year, we're hoping probably towards the third quarter, fourth quarter of that year, we're hoping to roll out to 2 more provinces in South Africa, and that may be Gauteng, either the Eastern Cape or the Northern Cape.
Wow.
So that's really,
Exciting.
the next 12 months.
So Sebastian, you run AFRA, and Renee, you have a very busy job at HST. But when you relax, what is it that you do?
I think let's go and see.
Let's go. Rena and Sebastian is that it's so important to invest in other people, and it doesn't matter how old or young you are, you have something to give to somebody else. And just as somebody invested in them, they invested in me, and that is why I'm where I am today. No matter how small it is, it's a beginning.